Hi there, welcome back to my channel Scrap and Coffee. So we're still working on this Mint and Mistletoe folio, our first latte project, and this will be the third part of decorating. So if you want to watch the first 4 videos, if you haven't done so, you can find the playlist on my channel called Latte Projects, and you will find all the videos in there. So I did my homework. And I have decorated or stuck this part down here and used that scrap piece that I told you from this pattern paper on the flaps here on the inside and right here, right? So I had to cut into that new sheet for here, and this I only had an inch here where I did 1 1/4 here, but you know, nobody is going to notice that, so I'm good with that. So this is a little bit of a wider strip than I have here, but that's all fine. It works, it looks nice, I'm happy with it. So the only part here on the inside from the bigger parts is this one right here that I still have to do, and then we have to look at our flaps. So I wanted to start with cutting our sheet that was going to go on the front cover. This one, I'm going to put the rest to the side. Hopefully that's going to stay there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the strip here at the bottom, and then I'm going to cut it to 8 inches high because that's what I need for the page. Okay, so this strip, I think we can use that for our flaps. So I'm going to keep that close, and now I'm going to cut this in half to 6 inches. And then I want to use this part on our front cover. And then we have this one to go behind those tag pockets on that flap. And I didn't really talk a whole lot about that during the decorating. I noticed when I was editing the videos is that, especially in folios, but you have that in an album as well, is that when you decide for your paper to go here, you also have to think about what's happening here and that it works together, right? And especially in a folio that can be challenging. Now I did mention somewhere with this paper collection I wasn't too worried about it because I was kind of sure that I could make things work together. But that is something that you need to keep in mind. But when we are placing some embellishments, I will try to talk a little bit more about that as well, and in upcoming projects where I haven't already made one with the paper, because I think that's where I went. I forgot to talk about that in this one. I will talk a little bit more about that, but this works, right? And then I think I'm going to cut this to 8 and cut it up in half, and we can use a part here and a part there. So we'll see. Let's first do this one, and I was thinking about maybe adding some kind of strip here, but I'm not so sure. And I'm gonna do the pencil lines on there. And let's see, because I think if I'm going to do something like this again, it's going to be too much. It's the same. So I don't like that. We can do something horizontal to break it up. I can make a belly band, for example. That could work. And then I have this lying here to keep my camera focused, but you could place a little something on there, right? Sorry if you can hear that background noise. Sometimes I think, oh, that must be really annoying, and then you don't really hear it on the video. But so that is something that we can think about. But then this one, I think this is a little bit too thick, but we can cut that down. I also have this strip, but it's a long, well, it's make the spirit of Christmas bring joy to your heart and happiness to your home. But then I want to use that as a whole saying, so I'm not. So then we have to cut it up in half, maybe. Let's see if I do that. What do I? Okay, so I had to cut it a little bit. This one a little short and this one a little long, but we can correct that. But then we would get something like this. Put that on some black. So that is something that I can, but I don't know if I like that. Let's see, because I have this one that I can use. Okay, I'm kind of thinking, I'm in doubt. because I feel like maybe if I do the brown here, it might get a little bit too, because I have, but that's, Okay, I don't really know what I want to do, but what I can always do is I'm going to stick this down, and then later on with my embellishments I can see I can always create a belly band out of the pattern paper and see how I like that. So I'm going to get my marker, or what it is that you have been using, and I'm going to draw my lines on here. Okay, and I'm going to ink that up. Oh, it's stuck to my to the lid of the ink. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this on here, and I will figure out later what I'm going to do with it. So some glue on there and just even it out. Here's my bone folder. Okay, so give that a good burnish, because I don't know, but I have a spot in the folio where something happened that I really strongly dislike, but there is air under my pattern paper, and I think what happened is that I didn't use enough glue on that pattern paper. Was it this page? No, it was this page here, and it got a little bit better after putting the paper on this side, but I think on this one I didn't use enough glue, and there is some air under there. But I hope with putting a photo mat on here to make it a little sturdy it will get better, but it doesn't happen to me very often, but it happened to me this time. Okay, so we have all of that on there. Now we need to worry about this part here, which can be a little bit of a tricky part, but we are going to check what we have to work with. Now, like I said, I have this. I'm going to put this to the side for the front cover, right? I don't want to be cutting into that. And I would like it, is this long enough for it? Yes, so maybe I can use this to combine it with. What else do I have? I have this large part here. I can also layer it in the front cover. So let's see. These are some small pieces that I'm not able to work with. So let's get out of the scraps the things that are long enough to use. Okay, still we have quite some stuff to work with. And I think the inside here, let's see, this is the first thing that we're going to see when we open it up. And then we have this, and I still have this green here, so we can have that come back a little bit. We can add some of the brown in. This is just a hair too large for the spine. I can cut this in half to use it. I have some of that star pattern. I can also have that come back on this side, because we have a little bit of that there. So let's see, how much is this? This is 4 inches, so I can cut this in half to 2 inches, and these flaps are 2 3/4, I think. Yes. So then I can see, like, do I like that on the outside? Let me cut this in half, and I think it's already 8. Yeah. So I could put that there. Or here. And I think at first sight I like it here better. Then we have this one, and it doesn't matter if it's not the same width, it's also 4. So I'm going to cut it to 8, and then the question is, do I want to have the splatters on there, yes or no? I think I do. I like that little detail on the paper. So I'm going to cut it to 8 and in half. And then I think I'm going to place that on the inside with some green. With a strip of green. And then here this. So I was thinking of using that the brown craft. Where is that 1-inch strip? That's this one, right? It's not fitting. I need to cut it to size, but if I have that here, it's going to be too busy with this one. It's a fun pattern, but it's just too busy for me to combine with the rest. Yeah, okay, that's this one as well, right? Yeah, that's... It could work, but it's not for me. So that's what's going there. And then... here maybe a strip of brown too, because I also thinking about using the brown there. That needs to get away. So that can work, I think. Okay, so I got an idea of what I want to do. So I'm just going to start on the inside here. Let me think. I think I'm going to ink this and glue it down and then get myself a good measurement, because sometimes I measure it, like I would lay it down right now and I measure it and then I stick it down a little bit different and my strip is just a little bit too small or something. So that's why I like to ink and glue it down first. So then the question is, do we want to have this piece on the outside of the flap or do we want to have it on the inside of the flap? And I think it kind of depends on this 1/2 inch gusset area there. Do we want to have a strip in there as well, yes or no? Of course this is not going to fit, but... So if I want to, let's say if I want to do a little small brown strip there, then I would probably choose to, I'm just getting a strip from here for now to show you. So then you would get this, feels like a little bit of a sandwich there, or you would get this. So large piece, strip, strip, basically. So I think I like that better. Yeah, I think that looks better than to sandwich the large piece. And of course we can do here the same thing that we have been doing in the album, like where we cut like another 1/2 inch off of this part, put the strip down and then have that one stuck down. But I think it's going to feel a little bit too much of strip, 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 so I'm not going to do that. Of course I'm not going to use that what I just had here, but it was just to figure out on what side I wanted to stick this down. So I'm going to stick it on the outside of the flap. Okay, now let's see if I can hold this a little bit more flat. No, I'm going to need to use my hand for it. So again, even for that border, try to get it straight. And give that a little bit of a burnish to even out the glue. And then I'm going to stick the other side down and then I can cut both pieces in one go. So the other side I'm going to do the same thing, stick it on the outside. Now I can turn it around because I have the splatters on top there, and then I can have it a little bit on the bottom here. Which I also have some splatters here, so... Those are just the little details, right? If you do that the other way, it's not gonna hurt anything, but... It's just what you like. And this is really what I do, right? I just cut a piece, or I think about how do I think I want it, and just I need to see it. I place things next to each other to see how it looks before I really make up my mind on gluing things down. Because I see sometimes, I've seen tutorials where all the pattern papers were basically cut before I even constructed it. I followed a class once, and it's a little while ago. There was a workshop and they were gonna make an album in it as well, and then there was a video where they showed you how to cut everything, how to cut the base cardstock, but also how to cut all the pattern paper. That really stressed me out because there was already determined where I was going to place that pattern paper without seeing that what it was going to combine it with. No, I waited with cutting the pattern paper. That's not something that that works for me. So I really need to see things next to each other. I'm always a little impressed by people that can do it that way. So much quicker, so much easier. Okay, I have a gap here of 5/8 of an inch. And I'm gonna go up to the score line. Now I know I'm gonna cut a 3/8 inch strip to go here. So I'm thinking I'm just gonna cut it slightly over 1/2 inch. Now these small strips, they are hard to correct if you cut them a little too big or too small. So I'm really trying to get a good measurement, but I'm going to cut it slightly over 1/2 inch. No, I think 1/2 inch would be fine actually, because I have 5/8 of an inch space, so that would give me a 1/16 of an inch between my pattern papers and up to my score line. So 1/2 inch of this green one. Now let's see if I have the same measurement here. That would be great. Yes, wow, I did a pretty good job there in evening that out. So 2 strips of 1/2 inch of this green. And I can also use this. Is it 8? It should be 8. Looks like 8. Yeah, and if I want to cut that to 6, I still have a good inch left. Because I was thinking maybe I can use this to make a little bit of a background for this paper. Or place it on the front cover and make a closure with a belly band. I'm still in doubt about that. So I can also cut it off this one. Okay, so I have those 2 strips. Okay, let's see, because I'm getting a little bit messy here. This is for the other side of the flaps. Okay, so we can cut that down, and then I want to have 3/8 inch strips from this. So I'm going to cut it to 8 because I know that's the maximum height that I'm going to use, and that gives me a little bit of a bigger scrap piece than if I cut off a strip first and then cut that to 8. I have like a small strip piece of scrap left that probably is harder to use for me than a little bit of a bigger piece. See, that's a 3/8 inch strip that can go in the gusset if you want to. You don't necessarily have to decorate those areas, but makes your spine a little stronger. And this can go on the other side. Okay, and this one I need to cut down to 8 because it's a little longer than that. Okay, I think I'm going to do this because I cannot do that in my big trimmer. So I need to correct that. I need to cut off a little hair to 7/8 of an inch in width. So I will do that in a second. Let's first get this stuck down. So now I'm thinking if I want to do some lines on here, maybe it's easier to do it now instead of when it's already glued down. So on this brown, I feel that brown is a little plain of a pattern. So I'm going to do, I feel like on this small strip it's a little hard to draw that line, but I can try. If it doesn't work, and again, like I said, don't be too hard on yourself. Maybe go a little slower, but often the slower you go, the harder it gets for some reason. And maybe this is a little bit too much on that small strip, but I have to see it. So before I do the other one, let's see how it looks. Maybe if I open this up a little bit, we can see a little better. And I have the luxury position to check it in my camera. That always helps me. That is too much. I don't like it. I don't like it, so I will cut a new strip. And then I think like the small detail stitching that I did on my other album, I don't know if you remember, that's a little finer doodle. That's a little less in your face. How do you say that? Might work better. But I've decided that I'm first going to stick my pieces down before I am deciding on it. Maybe it gives me a better idea if it needs it or not. But the line was not working. So just this is the strip that was actually for the other side, but I will cut a new one. So now I can use like a bone folder to keep that flat on my work surface. Scribble my glue on here on this strip. And sometimes the last parts can be the easiest because you don't have a whole lot less of a left to work with. So decisions are easy made for you. But on the other hand, that can also make it more difficult, right? Because you want it to work all together and maybe you just don't have enough left of that one piece of paper that would really make it work. And yeah, that's what I do is sometimes I just walk away from the project a little bit and come back later with a clear mind, have another look at it, go through my scraps again, or maybe get some embellishments in to see what can I use to make it work, to make it look good. So sometimes it's easy at the end because yeah, you got what you got to work with and that's it. And sometimes it can be a little bit harder because you just don't have enough of that one piece of paper that you feel really would have worked there. It's different for every project in that way. Okay, the other side. I still need to ink that piece, and I'm really inking away from my project right now because there's a little bit more ink getting in this blending sponge. And it really drops the fibers on my project. And then if you wipe it away, you just smear ink on it. Okay, so I can glue this down and then I have to cut a new piece for that little gusset there of that small spine. I feel like this piece could have been a little bit bigger, but trying to stay a little closer to my pattern paper piece so that gap is not too big. Let's see it one more time before I cut a new piece. Yeah, I think because we have like vertical line, vertical line, vertical line with vertical lines on it, it's a little bit too much. So a new piece of that, 3/8 of an inch. Let's see, that will fit, okay. And just ink that again. Okay, so stick that on. So you notice that this is a little bit more of a time-consuming way of doing it. So maybe it's not the best way to go if you have to make like 5 or 6 for gifts or something, but I don't mind doing it, but it's also for me the decorating part, well actually everything, but mostly the decorating part, that's like me time, right? I like to sit down and just enjoy the process of making your project come to life. So I don't mind if it's a little bit time consuming, but that might not be the same for everybody. So I need to cut this down to 7/8 of an inch. I think I'm going to use my straight blade for it. So I'm just going to measure it by hand to 7/8 on top and bottom. I can draw the line really lightly, but I think I'm just going to line this up. Okay, that can go in the garbage. Should need to place that a little closer, that bin for paper scraps. Throwing it around the room right now. Okay. Oh, I feel like I got a little off, so let's see. Yeah, I can go a little thinner there. Try to use the grid of my ruler right now a little bit to line it up straight. Let's see. That's better. Fits better in between. Once we've inked the edges, it blends in a little bit. Will all look good. Okay, let's glue that down. I feel like I could have gone a little higher, but it's stuck, so we'll leave it. Okay, so that's the inside. Let's do the outside of the flaps. So where are those pieces? Right here. And I think I'm going to this time place my pieces on this side. And then, well, this is not going to fit, but I can place some of the brown there, so we have that coming back. I think that would work nicely. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe that strip would work there, but I think it's a little too, it needs to be 1/2 inch, not 3/8. So again, let's do one side first and then the other side. Yeah, so I think I like it better because the pattern is also here. I think it's nice to break it up with something in between, instead of having that directly next to each other. You see, this is what I'm gonna do with a little bit of a wider strip, I think, or this. So you can decide for yourself. You don't have to try it. You can look in my video, but I think breaking the pattern up here with something else works better. Yeah, I like that. So stick it down on the outside, or like closer to the spine than to the cut edge of the flap. And this can be a little bit tricky with that piece that is, we have some space between the flap and the layer underneath. We cannot lay it completely flat, so lining it up can be tricky. Also burnishing it can be tricky. Need to be careful with where and how to apply your pressure. Okay. I don't know, I don't think there's really a right or wrong way with this pattern, but it felt I needed to turn it around, so I did it. Sometimes I have that and I'm like, okay, it shouldn't matter, but okay, I hope that's straight. You can always use your ruler, but I feel like by the time that I have my ruler there, my glue is dry and I'm too late anyway, so. Standing up really helps to look from a little bit higher up. So then these strips, they should be 1/2 inch because we basically did the same thing as on the inside of the flaps. However, let's get the ruler in and check. So we should have 5/8 of an inch, yep. And I did that quite straight. I have a little less here, it seems to be. Maybe my pattern paper strip was a hair longer, that's possible. But I think 1/2 inch of the brown would work. So let's cut that. And I'm still using that scrap piece that we've used for the inside. And let me see, because I've got it to 1/2 inch, but I only have a small gap now there. So if I have that 3/8, well, that's too small. That's not gonna work. Okay, I'll just do the 1/2 inch, that's fine. Okay, now I think this is here smaller. So I'm just gonna, because I had a little less space there, just switch them around. There we go, that looks good. So I'm gonna ink it and glue it down. Now don't forget, if you wanted to use your magnets, you should have done that first, right? Maybe I'm gonna put a little note in the video as well, because if you put your papers down now, you're too late. But I wasn't using magnets. I'm considering something like a belly band to go around it. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so aiming for about 1/16 of an inch between the pattern papers, and then a little bit more of a black border here along the cut edge. You see how my fingers get all dirty from inking those strips? Okay. So that is done. Nice. Okay, we still need to do the outside, right? I need to think about it. So we have everything covered here on the inside. I like what we did. We need to do some detail work. We need to think about the cover. So there are a few things that we can do. I can just cut this strip, stick it down, maybe do a pen doodle on there. What I did in my other one is I placed a strip of the green and then this one. So that is possible. I can also cut this one down a little bit and make a background mat for it with the green. I still have that, so we can have it go all around. Still have a little doodle on here maybe. So that can work. That I was in doubt for that for the first one as well, so I can still do that. I still have some brown that can go on the cover. I can use the green on the cover, maybe I like that. I also have this strip of green to cover the side spines here. But what I was also thinking about, but then I would have a boring front cover, is to create maybe a belly band to slide over with, and then cut out a smaller piece, put that on the black to go on there. I'm not sure how I like that. And I think if I fill this up, I can always make a belly band with some of the other paper. So quick decisions, come on, let's go. I'm gonna cut this one to 6 by 8 because it's, yeah, 6 by 8. That will go on there. And then I need to think about how much of a green border do I want to see. And if you really want to save paper, you could also do that with strips and create like a frame. So you have all that middle green part there to work with. But it also makes your cover a little stronger to double up your layers. So it doesn't hurt your album or your folio to double up your layers. So I think I want to have a little bit of a nice green border there. So I think I'm going to cut off, I'm starting with cutting off 1/4 inch from this. So I'm going to cut 1/4 inch here because I want to keep this intact as much as I can. So it's 6 now, so 5, no it's 8, so 7 3/4 in height by 5 3/4 in width. Or I can also cut off 3/8 of an inch. How much is this strip here? It's a little over 3/8, but I can use the white on the spines instead of the green. If I cut off 3/8 inch of a strip, that would fit there. Does that make sense? So I'm going to cut off 3/8 of an inch on this side. So it's 6 now, so I'm going to cut it to 5 5/8 of an inch. See, so that gives me this strip that I can place on the side there if I want to. And I also have this, I need to cut that to size a little bit better, but we'll try our best. And I still need to do the height. So I'm also going to cut off 3/8 of an inch in the height to give an even green border on all 4 sides. So I'm going to cut it to 7 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so then we create a little bit of a layer there. I like that. Okay, this is what we are, this is the base. And then this one, if I cut that to 7/8 of an inch on this side, and then I think I like it to have the white on the other side to break it up. I'm not going to worry about the back, but I always have this if I want to cover that up a little bit, or I have the blue, but I'm not sure if that will work. I still have this of the blue, which I'm not sure, I don't think is it 6? Oh yeah, it's easy 6. So I could cover, I could do plain brown there. So I have enough to do the cover, the back cover as well if I want to. I'm thinking about the green, but I might do the brown there. I want to bring the brown in somewhere on the cover because it's part of the collection. And now we can say the same thing about the blue, right? But we can do that with an embellishment. So keep all of this close by. We might want to use it. First up, I'm going to ink these pieces. Let me get this to the side. Okay, I got myself some 1/4 inch tape because this is something that I often do on my front cover. I like to stick the outer edge down with double-sided tape, combine that with wet glue, by the way. So really close to the cut edge without going over. But also because I'm gonna double layer, I don't want to warp the paper too much, so I'm also using the tape to stick it on top of each other. Okay, so I did that for both pieces. On the one that's gonna go on top, I filled in the middle part as well a little bit because I really want to reduce the amount of wet glue there. So I'm giving that a burnish for a good stick of my tape. And I'm going to start, I'm just going to put it on the cover. If I want to do pencil lines or anything, I'm pretty confident that I'm able to still do that. But I think I want to see what we are going to do with embellishments before I'm going to put any black lines on here. So there are 2 things that we can do. We can stick green down first on the cover and then stick this one on top. Or if you're more comfortable, you can also put your green first on your work surface, stick this one on top, and then as one piece on your cover. Shall we do that? Maybe it's a little easier to line this out. Okay, so remove the tape backings. So I will combine it with a little bit of wet glue. It's more for wiggle time. But I think the most important thing is to not be too hard on yourself and stand up. That really helps. If you're able to stand up for these sort of things, then I recommend you doing it. So I'm going over the outer edge a little bit, and a really thin line of glue. It's more that if I'm not happy with my placement, I can lift it up. Okay, so I'm trying to put this straight on my work surface. And I'm just hoovering it above it. Try to see if I'm evening out my border. And if I think I'm happy, I'm just going to drop it. And I try to burnish to my outer edge, all the way to the outer edge, to get rid of any air underneath. Okay, so that is one. And now we get our folio back in. Very important, I try to always do it. Check if it's in the right orientation, because you don't want it to happen that you stuck this down. Let's say we were doing this, but it should be right with the opening on this side, but you don't want this to happen. So just make sure for yourself that you're 100% sure that everything is in the right orientation, or that you're sticking it on the back cover, for example. You know, that's possible. So please just double check. Okay, so I'm thinking, like, do I need to do something to make this easier for myself? I could open it up. Well, that makes it a little easier. Maybe even open that one up. So again, just make sure you're in the right orientation when you do something like this. Okay, I feel that I can have a little bit more. I can add a little bit more pressure now on my piece. Okay, again, some wet glue, thin layer on the double-sided tape, which is more for wiggle time. I can lift it up if I'm not happy with my placement, and fill in that middle part for actual attachments. And we do the same thing that we just did. I'm going to hoover it above my piece. Try to get a good visual of the border that I'm creating. I could go a little higher. Because I have the wet glue on my tape, I can do that. I can push it just a hair higher. Maybe I went too high, but I think I'm down. No, it's pretty okay actually. And again, same thing, I'm going to burnish all the way to the outer edge to get all that air underneath there. I don't want it. It's going to warp. How do you call it? It has a name. Buckle? Yeah, I think it's called buckling. Now what I could have done, and now that I'm looking at it, I wish I did actually. I could have layered my second piece of pattern paper on some black. And I think that would have looked really good. And I'm kind of bummed that I didn't do it. So if you're watching this and you want to do the same thing, try it. Try to layer this piece here on some black for a small, I would say a 1/16 inch small black border here between your pieces. I think that would be really, really nice. I didn't do it. It's down. I cannot change it anymore. It's all good. Maybe when I do the pencil line on here, that will also help me break it up. I could also do a pencil line on the green even if I want to. Oh, I hate that you realize after you stuck something down that it could have been better. That's how it goes sometimes, right? Okay, so for this one I need 8 inches by 7/8 for the spine. So let's see, is this 8? I think it is. Yes. And I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut this with my straight blade because I have a hard time cutting these small pieces in the trimmers that I currently have. But this works too. So I need to cut off about 1/8 of an inch from this in my case. Is that 7/8 of an inch? Am I looking really weird at this? Looks more like 1 and 1. What am I doing? Yeah, you see, I didn't measure right. 7/8 is here. Okay, so try that again. Line it up. Okay, small strip there. Perhaps I can use it on something, who knows? And then this will go right here. Now if you feel that is a little bit too much green, we can also use the brown there. I think I'm gonna go for the green this time. Let's see how when it's inked. So right now I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure, 100% sure about this. But I feel like when I ink it, it changes the way it blends in with the project. And sometimes it changes for me how I feel about it. So I ink it and see if I like it. What also is going through my mind right now is maybe I want to do a pencil line on here. See, I already like it better now. Weird, right? How that works with some ink. Okay, I'm thinking I have this small strip here. I want to see how it looks with some... so of course it's not gonna look the same. So I'm not gonna use this piece. This is just a try-out piece, how I like to lines on the green. I kind of like that, so you know what, I'm just gonna do it on here. I try to be a little thinner than I have been, so a little less pressure. Maybe my pen is just running out a little bit, that's also possible. A little bit of a thinner line there, doesn't look bad. And try again, see how I like it. And that does it for me. I like that. And then I will definitely do something with a pencil line here on the front as well. Okay, I'm just gonna glue this down. And I will tell you that at this moment, I am making this decision pretty quick for my doing. Normally I could just go back and forth on these sort of things. But I think feeling the pressure of the camera is helping me making my decisions. Okay, so just even the border. I have a little less border to the sides than to top and bottom. On the spine, that's okay with me. Oh, try not to pull too hard. So again, I need to add some pressure here. I think I like that better than the brown. I just love that green, I love the green color. I've always said that purple is my favorite color. Well, actually purple and teal, but I feel more and more I'm drawn towards stuff, not only paper collection, but stuff in my life that have green in it. So I think green is my favorite color from now on. Okay, so for this one here, so I have this one already that should be able to fit on here. And then I need to cut this. I'm gonna cut it to 8 and see if I can manage to cut it to 3/8 of an inch, which can be tricky. Okay, so this is going to require a little bit of fiddling around, right? But I feel like it's the only piece of that pattern that I have left. I've used it quite a lot. Okay, so again, I just measure the 3/8 of an inch with my pencil and I'm going to try to cut it with my straight blade. Hope it's going to cooperate. Because the trimmer that I have in my scoreboard from your Memory Keepers, that's like a scoreboard and a trimmer in one. I've noticed that when I cut off a small piece, it kind of folds the paper and it doesn't cut. Maybe it's the blades, but... And this one there's a safe for so you don't cut your fingers. That's in my way of lining up small strips, so I'm not able to use that. But this looks pretty good, it worked. So I'm going to ink those for those small spines on the side. Okay, so before I'm going to stick it down, I'm gonna give it one more look. Do I like it? Yeah, I do. It's hard to go wrong with this pattern. Okay, so I'm just going to glue that down, and then I think I'm gonna do a pencil line on the white paper. So just hold it in a way that it works for you. I'm just putting it on its side so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, that's one. Okay, I try to line them up with each other as well, from top to bottom, which is now from side to side. Okay, that's about right. Okay, there we go. So let's do a pencil line because it needs something. I wish I did that black, but okay. Time to let go. Okay, I need to make this a little flatter so I can rest my hand on my work surface a little bit better. I'm just doing the same thing as I did with the one that's on the inside. I don't mind if that repeats itself somewhere throughout the project. Okay, now I want to have a look at it. It's already better for me. That worked, that helped. Because I'm thinking, shall I do a one around on the green as well? You know what? Let me do it. You can see if you like it or not. And maybe when you have that black in between the layers, you don't need that. So I'm trying again, add a little less pressure for a little bit of a thinner line. Ooh, I went off there. See, that happens. Carefully. Ooh, almost went off again. Well, it's okay. So how do we like it now? Yeah, you know, that's not bad. But of course we will start adding some embellishments on here as well to break it up and to see what we can create on here. And I'm not deciding on my backside as of yet. I think it's time to create some photo mats and some embellishments. Okay, little change of mind. I said I was gonna do some photo mat and some embellishments, but seeing the length of this video, I think I'm going to focus on finishing off the cover and then do one last video for the final decorating part with embellishments, photo mats, etc. So I'm gonna go and get my die cuts, cutter parts, whatever you want to call them. I have some already lying right there, and we have this big packaging here. So I'm gonna go through it quickly to see what I want to put on here. I think I will have my eye open for some blue and for some brown to break up the green and white that we've already have been going on here. Doesn't mean that I'm not able to use something like this as well, but yeah, let's see what I can find. Well, not this, because it's the same image, so that's not gonna work for me. Okay, so I just grabbed some stuff out of there that I think that might work for me. Let's see if we can create something with that. It's quite a lot actually. So, some banners. Attack. Like these houses might be a little small compared to the tree, so I'm not sure about that. Joy to the world. I'm not sure if I want to have that on my cover, so I'm just deleting stuff right away again as well. Now that might work. I kind of like that. Not sure. I like the heart. Maybe I want to use the hearts. I have a little banner here. That's nice. I like that. Maybe green heart there. And I like to group things together. Doesn't always work. Sometimes you're trying to make something work and it doesn't. Like this, I don't think that will work. I'm not sure about the hearts. But I like the blue banner. That works for me. And I had the stickers. I've used that on the other one to spell out Christmas and the year. What if I have only the bird on there? That can work. We can pop it up slightly. No. See, that's just how it goes, right? I try stuff and I don't know. That might make it maybe a little bit too much of the brown craft color. It doesn't work for me together. I know on the other one what I did was something like this, only I've got a banner like that a little larger out of my scrap pieces. But it feels a little too plain maybe. Is it just me? Maybe I need to do something really simple. Oh, right, I also have the gold. Does that work? Is it too much? Oh, you know what? I got something else that I was playing with, or I wanted to play with. I bought this on the sale as well. It's a mist, like a spray that you also have from Tim Holtz, Ranger, all these brands, right? There are several brands that have it, and this is a gold shimmer spray. Now I need to give it a good shake, so I'm gonna edit it out probably. Okay, you might want to think about protecting your work surface. I'm not gonna spray it on. I'm just going to take out this applicator thing and just splatter some on here. That needs some drying time, right? I'm not gonna go too crazy, just a little careful. Now it looks really yellow to me, but I've tried it on another piece, and when it dries up, it really has this gold shimmer. See, I did it in here somewhere. Here, I know, it's always hard for the camera to grab something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure how that grabs, but it dries up really nice, really like you have a dot of glitter on it. So let's make it a little festive. And I'm thinking I'm going to, that needs to dry. So in the meantime, I'm going to get one of those hearts. I need to decorate that a little bit more. Oh, something like that. Let's see where I have my pop dots. It's gonna take forever, right? Because I'm thinking I'm giving this some ink. And maybe put a little foam square on it. To make it come off the page. We can put this there. I don't think I will be using this here. I think I'm going to place it higher on the page, but it still needs to dry. And then I think I'm going to make 2022 with the gold numbers here. Okay, I let it dry for a little bit. There's still a little drop there that's not really dry, but I'm going to work on the other side. Did notice there are some holes in my die cuts there. Okay, so well, I'm using this gold sticker sheet now, right? So you can also, I also have the stickers that came with the collection that I could use. Where is it? Here. See, they also have numbers, but I feel that they are a little too yeah, it makes it a little plain. I'm not sure what the right word is, but and of course you can always have a look at your die cut sheet if there's something in there that you might want to use or cut into a tag. There are so many opportunities, but just go through your collection, your stash, see what there is that you can use to decorate your cover. It's just about placing things together in my case. So I did a little foam pop on here to see if I like it, if it comes off the page a little bit. And then I have this family moments, and I thought maybe I want to add this blue banner there as well. See how we can line it out. I could add the heart here somewhere. Might be just that's just one element too much, right? Yeah, it doesn't work there for me. It's not working yet. So I try to see how I can place that a little tactful. So, okay, do I like this in the base? Yeah, maybe a little higher. And then let's see with those numbers. I think I want to have it up on top here. So I don't really have something to line it up nice and straight. Tweezers, the word was not coming to me once again. So I'm just doing the best that I can. Maybe I want to have a ruler to line it up somewhat. And with the sticker sheet I can turn it into a sort of December daily, because I have all the up to 31. So I could do that. I'm not seeing what I'm doing here. My 0 needs to go higher. Oh, I also have a golden heart on here. Maybe that can work. Okay, so I haven't stuck that down completely. I think it needs to come in a little bit. So I'm just trying to find balance, what works for me. So I want it a little more like that. So a whole bunch of fiddling around until I'm happy, basically. Yeah, like that better. So I'm going to start with sticking this one down. Now I can add a few extra. Do I only have the? I should have smaller ones as well, I think. I don't see it so quickly, so let me cut something up. Okay, let's see, I can put it on the top. And you can use scrap pieces of chipboard really well for layering or popping up your pieces, especially on a cover. Gives you a little bit more strength under your piece. Okay, so I'm just keeping the bottom part clear from, because I want that to go over the other things. You can add a little bit of wet glue to this if you want to. I'm fine with this. Something like that. Okay, and then now what I can do is just run a thin strip of my 1/8 inch tape around the bottom of this one. And just balance this out how you like it. Kind of think I also have that green one, right? Oh, no, I think blue is better. Just making sure for myself. Okay, so let's do something like that, and then I can stick this as one whole thing here, and then I'm going to bring it a little bit more to the edge there. Yep, okay. So slide this under here. Maybe it's a little bit too far that way to my liking, but it is what it is now. It's okay. Okay, and then the last thing, I'm going to line up these stickers here. So I'm just going to start with one. Ooh. So maybe by this time I should add a little bit of wet glue onto this, because chances are now it's gonna come off at some point with all that replacing it. Good enough for me. Good enough for me. Okay, so let's close my glue quick. You see how indecisive I am. Yeah, it's nothing special, but it's it says what it says, right? It's Christmas moments, family moments for 2022. So that will work. I think I need to glue down that little edge there a little bit better. And yeah, so we are going to do some decorating on the inside, some embellishments, right, and some photo mats. So that will be the final decorating for this folio, which again I'm going to do in the final video, because otherwise these videos are going to be way too long. Okay, so yeah, we didn't do a whole lot in this video, but yeah, all the basic decorating is done. It's just time to finish it up, and we will do that in the last video. So I hope you still enjoy it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one. What will be the last one for this project.